Hi, I'm Charles Marsala, candidate for United States Senate. The Coalition to Restore Coastal Louisiana recently had a debate at LSU. To be on the debate platform, you had to have raised $1 million basically in your account, because that's the criteria for being in the surveys that were done. And if you weren't polling, you weren't allowed to be on stage. Hence, I wasn't on stage. I didn't make it. However, we've done an extensive amount of work in the field on coastal restoration, and they've allowed us to put together a 12-minute video to explain that. They did a bio of each candidate before the debate started. And here's my bio. I'm a former mayor, oil drilling engineer, e-commerce developer, and financial advisor. A recent study showed that 70% of the people want a fresh face for United States Congress. They prefer someone who's lived in both the north and south part of the state. There are 24 candidates running, about 5 Republicans splitting the vote on the right, and about 4 Democrats splitting the vote on the left. That leaves 50% available for us. Please look at our YouTube channel and see the initiatives. I believe that the most efficient and stimulating manner for me to make use of the 12 minutes CRCL has given me is to embed commercials we've already done out in the field. No other candidate has done this. Here's my intro. I was a mayor who balanced economics and environment, and I've been doing a show called Awesome Wildlife Effort, where I've been out in the field meeting great people trying to save our environment and honoring them. I've learned so much from these wonderful people on what needs to be done to restore our coast, save our fishing industry, and clean our waters. I know that South Louisiana contributes greatly to the overall success of America. I also know we face a lot of challenges. We need to keep our offshore tax dollars in Louisiana. We need to address the dead zone in the Gulf of Mexico. We need to deal with coastal erosion as well. A senator should hold conferences where he invites all the states that contribute to the Mississippi River Basin down to South Louisiana to form a solution so that Louisiana stays strong and America stays strong. The first question asked was, how will a senator secure the billions needed to restore Louisiana's coastline? Because I've been talking to so many nonprofits over the last year and a half, I've come up with a lot of ideas. And one of them is a nonprofit called Restore the Earth. They believe that the Mississippi River Basin is the Amazon of North America. And they are putting philanthropy to work, which is part of my platform. Using philanthropy dollars, we can acquire land, restore it, and then sell it and multiply it over and over again. They're going to start this in October with 4,000 acres in the coastline. And working with them, you'll see what can be done. Now let's go to Spanish Lake to see an example of coastal land loss. Louisiana has been losing a football field an hour of marshland to open water for decades. And you can see that here in Spanish Lake. This camp behind me is gone, and this used to be on the edge of land. Let's get this addressed and have a smarter conversation. The next question was, what will you do as a senator to convey a sense of urgency to the people of America that Louisiana's coastlines need to be saved and what needs to happen? The easiest solution I have is to show you a recent interview I did with Jeff Carrere of WGNO Radio.
Obviously, coastal restoration is also a major issue, right?
2 days ago, I was at Mardi Gras Pass. I was also down at Jean Lafitte watching how they're pumping the sediment down there.
Yeah.
And Mardi Gras Pass has some issues, and I applaud what they're doing with the coastal restoration on that. But they had an opening at Mardi Gras Pass, a valve blew out, and you can just see it. It's not doing exactly what they're watching it, but it's causing some havoc because it's actually eroded a large area, and it's moving some of the sediment into the channels where the fishermen need to get out. Plus, again, the nutrients have closed 3 oyster beds down.
All this used to be oysters in all of these bays. Oak River and all that. Used to be some out here too, but there ain't none now for the fresh water.
Just took it over.
Yes, sir.
So it's actually causing the oyster fishermen to switch to shrimping because of this coastal restoration concept. However, in Jean Lafitte, they've actually used a pipeline and they're dumping it exactly where it needs to be. They've already recreated 2 square miles of coast down at Jean Lafitte. I was there last weekend meeting with residents down there. The theme of my campaign is a smarter conversation. By talking to people, and what we're doing is hearing what's going on and getting down there firsthand. The third question is, what will you do to ensure the viability of the National Flood Insurance Program? As a mayor and as engineer, I looked at one area that needs to be addressed, and that's the flooding in Louisiana. I went to the Comite and the Amite Rivers to see what should have been done 30 years ago, a diversion project and a dam. Here's what we saw when we went up there and toured the area. I'm standing on what used to be Louisiana State Highway 10, outside of Darlington, Louisiana. This is the northernmost point of the area that recently flooded. As you can see, the devastation is phenomenal. It spans about a mile of road washed out. This was an area that in the 1970s was proposed to be a reservoir. We need to reevaluate that. At the time, it was decided not to go forward because the valuation of a lot of the real estate downriver was not that high, and we're looking at 1,000-year floods. Well, we're now starting to see those more frequently. And we need to address that problem. We need to reevaluate how much real estate, how much possessions would have been saved had a dam been put up here, which could have held back the Amite River while we had all this rainfall. 30 inches of rainfall in 24 hours. It's amazing that any place could handle that. But we want to make sure that doesn't happen in the future. So let's get involved, let's listen to the people, and let's take action. The fourth question was, how will you address the $100 million annually due from Louisiana to match federal money that was given to us after Katrina? Louisiana has to work in a bipartisan manner. And one of my competitors, Congressman Fleming, voted against giving money for Hurricane Sandy victims. They, in turn, right now are not too happy with Louisiana. We also have $160 million, upwards to $500 million a year, that is due to Louisiana starting in 2017 from offshore oil royalties. However, there's talk not to give us that. And that underscores the need for us to work in a bipartisan manner, and we can help people from Hurricane Sandy to vote in favor of those policies, so they'll help us and vote our way when we need their help. The fifth question is, how will you resolve the stalemate of Governor Edwards wanting to sue the oil and gas companies for money to restore the coast? This could cause a lot of problems. Primarily, you're going to spend a lot of money in legal fees, and what if those companies go bankrupt that you sue and just create new companies? Or right now, the oil and gas industry is in a situation where companies are going bankrupt anyway. So we don't want to lose more jobs. But we found that Shell and other companies are willing to donate money to coastal restoration. They want to protect the neighborhoods that their employees live in. Let's look to be a win-win situation. Another example of what needs to be done is down in Point LaHash. I met someone who informed me that a pipeline has been sitting unused for over 6 years because we can't resolve a situation with the landowner. This is unacceptable. And here's that video.
This is the White Ditch siphon. It was built in 1964 at a cost of $74,000. It's solely owned by Plaquemines Parish government. The trouble is it goes into a private landowner. So if you don't do maintenance, the private landowner says, "Boop, we're not letting you run it." So this is what happens. This little thing here does help.
But this is a case where you got something in place, and it wouldn't take much to get it back.
And you're not utilizing it.
You're not sitting
Yeah.
here. The sixth question was, what impact does climate change on coastal erosion in Louisiana? Sea level is rising about 4 millimeters a year right now. We anticipate it could be larger. So overall, I think it's about 30%. Really, it's about the ground sinking in Louisiana. We do have warmer waters, which do cause storms to move in salt water and kill marsh grass. But the reality is, our ground is sinking, and that's what we have to address. Ile de Jean Charles is a great example, and here's a video we did there. Welcome to Awesome Wildlife Effort. We're doing a show today from Ile de Jean Charles. It's a wonderful place, and most people know it as the bathtub. Yes, it was called the bathtub in the movie Beast of the Southern Wild. Behind me, you'll see is a rescue chamber they used when a storm came through. Ile de Jean Charles is known worldwide as a place where we have people being relocated due to rising seas. So we came down here to find out what's really going on. And we find out that there's a lot of coastal erosion. There's a lot of issues going on from the levees having been diverted and oil and gas canals being dug. So we're going to talk to several people down here. We're going to talk to tribal leaders of the Homa tribe. We're going to talk to politicians. We're going to talk to people from actually Europe that have come over, having heard about what's going on with people being relocated. With a little bit of effort, this culture could be saved. And it would be a great place to show how we can restore marsh. The seventh question is about politics. And as a senator, you got fiscal responsibility of Louisiana, and you also have voters. Because the reality is that we cannot defend the whole coast. And how are you going to tell the people that you can't defend their land? That is a very difficult thing. Having been down there, I've heard that people just want information. The stalling that has gone on from our politicians for the last decade and not have a meaningful interaction with residents has caused a lot of mistrust. We have to tell people that the sea level is rising, as much as they don't want to believe that, and that the ground is sinking at a rate we cannot defend. And this is what it's going to look like in 10, 20, 30 years. I've been down to some of these planning sessions. It's not a pretty thing, but we can work together to solve as much as we can. And the sooner we're up front with the residents, the better. And I will do this, and I've already started to have those conversations with people as I hear their pain. I want to thank you for allowing me to make this presentation. Saving the coast is incredibly important to me. My family has been in Louisiana for more than 100 years. My dad took me fishing from the 1960s on down on the coast. I did it with my friends, my mother. It's a place where families go to bond and create memories. It's also tourism dollars. People come from all over the United States to fish in the Gulf of Mexico. We have to solve this problem, and a lot of people want to help us. We need to reach out, and my contacts in California are willing to help. There's a lot of people in New York willing to help. Philanthropy is there. $370 billion a year in philanthropy go into projects in the United States. We can get some help from there, and we can show the return on investment to making a great quality of life in Louisiana for a lot of people in the nation.
Text Marsala to 504-509-5500 to make a donation, or go to marsalaforla.com for more information.